And with Megan making that sound, we are now back once again.
Sorry.
Megan, you just happened to do it right as I hit start recording, so you know it's perfect. It's fine.
Damn it, I was hoping I would be before it. My throat's feeling a little dry. I'm just gonna grab a drink.
Nick, you get a drink. See, she could have done that before I started the recording. But man, okay,
Well, yeah.
okay. So we are doing the what I call more manufactured video for E3. For those that didn't watch the thing previously with the Xbox announcement. I believe this video is not a show floor video. This is presumably made for game stores, where I assume they sent it out and it's like, okay, the game's coming out on this day. Here's a little bit about the game. Maybe just so they can try to like sell it to people. I'm not too sure. I've never worked in a game store, and I've never been like obviously like higher up in any game store company, so I don't quite know how that works.
Yeah.
But I figured it'd be fun to watch this, and then I do have a show floor footage here, which looks pretty raw, which should be fun. But we'll get to that one a bit later. For the moment, though, E3 2000 GameStar VHS Mesa Video 1 Von 2, which uploaded by the rather really good old E3 VHS videos, which I do recommend checking. It seems like a pretty fun YouTube channel, actually. Well, they do have a lot of stuff. Like I said before, once again, if you didn't watch it, they do have ones for 99 at least. And I'm kind of sad we didn't watch that one, but it just because it would have been a bit easier to see some of the games. I mean, I still would have wanted to see the show floor video, but I don't know. There were some games in there that I like that weren't on the show floor just because I guess they weren't popular enough. Anyway, that's my issue. So let's go. So basically, just go there if you want to watch some more of their fun videos. They're pretty cool if you want to see more of this. And I will link it in the description. I should remember. Hopefully, future me, please remember. So yeah, let's go ahead and watch. This is just going to be a bunch of games. So Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy Color.
Actually looks pretty alright.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't even know it was on Game Boy Color.
Me neither. And I'm sure Megan and I have a lot to say about the various games that come out, either because we know about them or we have no clue, or we have some kind of like memory associated. Personally, I never played DKC on the Game Boy Color. I did play it on the Super Nintendo back in the day.
Yeah, what I played of it was on the Super Nintendo. I didn't actually play a lot of Game Boy Color games because most of my Game Boy Color games were Pokemon. There was very few that were not, aside from like the Hamtaro game. Oh, nice.
Gold and silver. 10, 16, 2000. Man, bringing back the memories.
The canon one they show.
No, I mean it is. It had Lugia, and Lugia was in the movie. Where's Ho-Oh?
I
it's in an episode of like a show or something, but.
Oh, and Chikorita is canon starter.
Yeah, well, that part doesn't have to be true. Yeah, it brings back memories, this does.
Yeah, I love playing through Gen 2 games. They're not my favorite, but they're pretty good.
Boo,
I like
that's
Gen
sacrilege.
3. Gen 3 is my favorite.
Gen 2 though is considered like the peak, isn't it?
I mean, to a lot of people, yeah. I just really like Gen 3. Gen 4 is really good too. Also, Perfect Dark.
On the Game Boy Color, yeah, interesting. I like how it plays a lot more like a top-down shooter. Very Metal Gear, actually.
Or like GTA 2.
Yeah, or like GTA 2. Yeah. It's some pretty shooting sections, though.
Yeah.
Very kind of on-rail shooter, I guess. So I guess I had a couple different types of gameplay.
Wario Land 3.
Classic.
I did play a decent amount of this, I think.
I played one of them. I don't know which one I played. It might have been 3. It might have been 2.
It was 3? I can't quite recall. I never got very far into it because I was bad at it, but I remember playing it quite a bit. Like how they just have a golf minigame.
Yeah. Bunker. Hey, nice. Tripping. Crystallis.
Okay. This looks like a place similar to old Zelda games.
little bit. I haven't heard of this one.
Neither have I.
Nintendo SNK. Interesting. If Nintendo had a hand in this, I am surprised I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Warlocked. Good name.
I've never heard of this one.
Yeah, me neither.
Looks to be more of a tactics game.
Seems so. Hint. A dragon. Maybe a little bit of tower defense.
Yeah, it seems like a tower defense thing.
Pocket shot, soccer, gameplay, TBA. Huh. If it was TBA, did I put my phone somewhere again? Megan, oh no, it's in. Yeah, no, I know what TBA means. I just wanted to see if it came out. Don't worry, Megan. I'm not an idiot. Like you might sometimes think
I was like, yeah, I don't know. Just the way you phrased that, it made it sound like you weren't sure what TBA stood for. So I was trying to help you out.
No, it was more so just me going TBA. I wonder if that came out. I didn't say that. I thought it would be clear. I guess it wasn't. Which is fine. I just thought you had enough respect for me that you know I knew what TBA meant. It's okay. I'm just bugging.
Don't phrase it like that. It makes me sound like an asshole.
No, you're not an asshole most of the time. I'm just kidding. You're not an asshole at all. You're fantastic.
He's trying to call me out, guys.
I mean,
like, no reason. I didn't do anything.
I mean, it would only be calling you out if it was true. Which, when you say that, makes it seem like maybe it is, but it isn't. You're very nice and very kind, and you could never be an asshole.
Yeah.
So I like how PlayStation is already saying, like, look at all the hits we've had since we've come out, and they've only been alive for like, what, 5 years?
I mean, it makes sense they would try to promote it since they have their new console coming out soon too, right?
The Mummy. Oh, I think I played this game. I think I played The Mummy. It's based off of, well, The Mummy. I think.
Yeah.
What are Woodpecker Racing? There's a Woodpecker Racing game?
That doesn't surprise me. There was a lot of Mario Kart clones. I can't say I've heard of Woody Woodpecker Racing though, but it looks alright.
The Grinch. I think I played this one. Also, it looks like Pocket Soccer did come out in March of 2001.
Oh, okay. Monster Force.
Final Fantasy 9. I never played 9. I don't even know anything about 9.
All I really know about 9 is that it takes place in like a medieval fantasy setting. And that's pretty much it. And Vivi. I know about Vivi.
Yeah, 9 is like one of those Final Fantasy games that I've really never heard talked about. I hear people talk about 7 and 8 all the time, and 10. But 9, I don't know if it... Like, I assume it was popular, is the thing. Because I know Vivi is like... I think a well-loved character, I think. No, since wrestling, I play this game. It's not that good, but I had fun with it. But like the thing with 9 is, maybe because it has so many games that are good, like in terms of Final Fantasy games that like came out both before and after, that even if it was just like an okay Final Fantasy, not bad, it would probably be like lost in the fold, you know.
Yeah, I assume it's like that to an extent, because I've even heard like in the last, I don't know, I want to say about 5 years or so, a lot of love for people with Final Fantasy VI, and I don't remember anyone really talking about Final Fantasy VI until relatively recently. So it could have just been because the other games were so good around it. Even if it was a decent game, it didn't stand up to what people thought of the other ones.
Maybe. Which is why it's going to be really fun when I eventually get to do in my playthrough, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, on the YouTube channel, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, of the Final Fantasy series. The whole series.
I do want to play more of them too.
Dino Crisis 2. Yeah, I never played this. As I've mentioned before, it wouldn't work for me. I don't know if it was bad or not. I think I heard it was, but I don't know why. Or maybe it was just 3 that was bad. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I love the original Dino Crisis. I actually really want to play that. We'll want to get the disc resurfaced because I think it needs it, and then maybe I'll do a stream of it sometime. Who knows? Because damn, it's a good game. Coming soon.
So, this is the Jurassic way of welcoming guests. Not exactly the red carpet treatment. There's no response. It's okay.
Oh, it's main character from 1. I actually wasn't too sure if she was in the second game. That's how you can tell I know pretty much nothing about Dino Crisis 2.
Oh, come on. Didn't they teach you how to open the door to sword training? Here, I'll show you.
Yeah, that weapon definitely suits a track member, but I prefer to go in this way. See you, Mr. Barbarian.
And I love her. She's so good. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, though. It's like right there, but I don't recall it. And it's kind of bothering me. Dino Crisis, which I spelled really horribly. I spelled it as Dino Scrispois, which isn't gonna get it. I just want to see what the main character's name is. Regina? That's right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, latest release, Dino Crisis 3 in 2003.
Well,
on
2
the
did
Xbox.
well enough to get a sequel, so.
I mean, it did. You know, what are the reviews on 2? I'm kind of curious. While we watch the gameplay for 2. Because it really is such a good game, Megan. Like, I feel like it's one of those games where... Like, I feel like it's one of those games where people don't really talk about it. We got an 86 out of 100 on PlayStation and 57% on PC. So I guess it did do well enough.
Okay.
Dino Stalker, which I guess is a part of the series, which I never knew. And Dino Crisis 3 both got like a 50 out of 100.
Bash.
Crash Bash. Decent
I love
game.
this game. It's really not that good of a game, but I had a lot of fun with it as a kid.
Sony's still riding high on Crash, though.
Yeah.
Because like, I think we've seen a new Crash every year since they've come out.
Yeah.
And by they, I
had a
mean
new Crash
literally
every year
Sony.
for a long time.
What?
Yeah, I think CTR also came out around this time too, so you might even see that as well.
Maybe. Well, one thrilling gameplay, break the boxes and pick up the Wumpa fruit.
I mean, you say that, but this was probably the most fun game mode that was in the game. Not that level specifically. Like, I remember one later that was like on a futuristic like space station and stuff, and you throw TNT and it would like create holes in the floor. I hated the Pogo game in like pretty much every level though.
I will be honest, I don't really remember that much about the game. So because I played it, I don't recall the actual gameplay for a lot of the stages.
There was
If I may
like
finish, please.
mini games.
If I may finish, please. Sorry, Megan. I just want to finish my thought because I kind of lost it now. What was my thought? Yeah, because although I did play the game, I don't really remember much of it. So I can't really say whether it's good or not. Anything I say about it being bad is really just in jest.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just too repetitive, really. Because there's like 5 different games that you play, and then you play 4 different versions of them through the game.
Okay. Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah.
Earlier? Okay. Because I'm sorry. I just really wanted to finish my thought before I lost it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That's my fault.
And yeah, well, yeah. I'm not going to say it's not for interrupting. Yeah. It's okay. So I didn't know they had that. I didn't know they had a Jungle Book rhythm game.
Yeah, I heard about that on some YouTube video I watched because someone was talking about it, saying it was a game they played a lot, but I don't remember whose YouTube video it was.
Okay. And is Dragon Warrior the same thing as Dragon Quest?
Yeah, this is literally just Dragon Quest 7.
So was it called Dragon Warrior back then? Like in North America or something?
I think it was. I don't know if they changed it to Dragon Quest by the time this came out, like for the PS1 version of the game anyway. I don't know, maybe they thought it'd be more popular in America if it was Dragon Warrior.
Yeah, it even says Dragon Quest in the Japanese title. Yeah, I mean maybe. I don't know. I know very little about Dragon Quest. So I don't even know it had a different title.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I've only ever played a little bit of Dragon Quest 9. I didn't get super far into the game because, well, I found it to be pretty difficult at the time, but it's pretty fun. Like, I do want to go back and play at least 7, 8, and 9, and 11 eventually. Valkyrie profile, huh? This game is really cool. But I will probably never own a copy because it goes for a ridiculous amount of money.
I mean, it's pretty expensive.
I think last time we saw it at Next Wave, it was like $500 Canadian. Enix presents.
Yeah, I guess Enix had a couple games for this year since they had Dragon Warrior 7 as well.
Yeah.
Man, it looks so good.
It does look really good for a PlayStation game for sure. Wow. I think it's one of the first games we've seen that actually has like character sprites with dialogue like that.
Potentially.
At least I don't recall that being in any other like older RPGs we've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I kind of want to play like a proper RPG again. It's gonna be really nice when I can actually play. Let's start playing my Final Fantasy-a-thon stuff, which I've been saying I want to do for ages. It's just a matter of, well, A, figuring out which one I want to do, because there are so many different versions of a lot of the early Final Fantasies.
There are.
I'm not even too sure which ones would be the best. It seems like in the little bit of research I've done, some of them are good for some reasons and some are better for other reasons, but they don't always have the same reasons for why they're good. So there's a little bit of like, well, if you prefer it this way, then go this route. If you prefer it this way, and go that route. But I don't know which way I want, so I need to think about it a bit.
So there's no like definitive version to play, basically.
Yeah, at least for Final Fantasy 1. Legend of Dragoon!
Legend Dragoon!
Love you, Legend of Dragoon.
I need to actually play through this game.
You do. And I need to replay through it because it's been a long time. Probably on recording because... So Megan makes fun of me a little bit, saying that everything I do like doesn't have to be content, which is true. And now she's getting quiet. I'm not trying to call you out, I promise, but this is something we talked about. And I like to kind of make a little bit of a joke about it now. Where it's like, she says, not everything you do has to be content. But I like it, first off. But something like Legend of Dragoon, like it wouldn't have to be content, but I think it'd be really fun. And I would like to show it off, right?
Yeah. No, I think it would be fun, especially for like the older retro games. I just more meant it for, I don't know, I guess more current games that aren't necessarily like fan favorites or like demanded by your viewer base. I don't know. I'm just under the opinion that if I was making video game online content, I wouldn't play everything that I play as content. I might pick and choose some games. I might go replay a game I've already played, but I don't like the idea of turning my hobby into work, basically.
I mean, some of us find it fun and enjoyable, Megan.
Yeah, well, if you find it fun and enjoyable, then I'm happy for you. I just don't think I would if I was doing that all the time.
I mean, fair.
I remember this part of the game from the demo.
I do too, actually. I remember the early part of the game a lot, and I remember like the mid part of the game quite a lot too.
Yeah, I don't know. I played a little bit of the early game. I don't think I got too far. I just remember I got to this part where you're like in some kind of prison or something, and you have to go free your other party members, and like I got really stuck and frustrated there, so I stopped playing the game. But yeah, this looks really good even for the time.
It does. Like, so... Well, I was going to use Final Fantasy 7 as a comparison, but really I could use 8. 8 kind of did that thing too, because like the thing with 7, which I know a lot of people found weird, was just how like the characters had like the kind of like chibi look on the overworld. Yeah. 8 got rid of that. But I guess like, you know, Legend of Dragoon is also kind of similar in that regard, because I think it's kind of true. I think a lot of games did have a more cartoony look with their overworld and their characters, even Final Fantasy 7 to a degree, you know?
Yeah.
For some of the stuff.
Well, I assume that's probably just because of a limitation of the hardware. They were trying to work with the polygons, and maybe they found it easier to do the overworld with less detailed models.
Yeah. And then you have Legend of Dragoon and Final Fantasy 8 just being like, well, no, we can have our character models be proportioned properly. And we can make it look real cool. Like, holy shit, like, look at this. Like, this is badass, right?
Yeah, no, I thought this was really cool.
Wow, they're going through dialogue just like you do when you play games.
I read it, though.
You do. You read it really fast. So it's kind of funny, just because a Spider-Man! Spider-Man! I love Spider-Man. I'm actually currently on the lookout for this game to buy.
Yeah. No, it's a good game, and I wanted to play this version of the game for a long time.
What's going on?
I know there's been some trouble, but the bank's being robbed and they've got hostages. Use your spidey compass and get to the bank quickly.
Thanks, Cat.
I do remember playing the demo we had of this one a lot.
This game's just really good. It's like so fun.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
I don't think the main game had the weird little effect when Spider Sense goes off, though. Like a weird kind of flashing effect. I feel like they probably got rid of that for good reason.
Probably. I can't say for sure. I know I at least saw my brother play some of it at my cousin's house way back when. We just never owned it, but he got really far into the game.
Okay, also maybe that was just an error on the VHS, since it didn't happen there. Or there.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, the game's pretty short. I know when I did stream it, I want to stream it again. Because, you know, that was before I put everything up on YouTube. But the one time I did stream it, I got it done in like a day. Like if you know what you're doing, even if you don't, I feel like you can get through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, like this was kind of the era of games where a lot of games weren't really super long unless you got really stuck, and they were starting to get a little bit more bearable than some of the NES games with how hard they were.
Yeah. But I will say though, just before we move on, I will just say real quick that for anyone looking to play the Spider-Man game, get it on PlayStation. Not even kidding. Don't get it on any other system. It's different. Don't get it on PC. Maybe N64. I don't actually know how that version is, but I hear the PC version is terrible. So play it on PlayStation if you can. Just don't get it on PC. So anyway, a Namco game called Dragon Valor, huh? You ever heard of this one?
I have not. What's interesting, the animation, the dragon head almost looks like they used a puppet or something.
Almost. I mean, they could have. Or at least used it as like a reference.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by this game. I'm
Me
intrigued.
too.
I'm gonna just look it up and see reviews for it. Because I'm just really curious. And then I'll probably add it to my list of games to look for, as it's tradition while watching these. Because it doesn't seem like an RPG, but it seems like it maybe has like RPG elements.
Seems like it.
Oh, so it's in the Dragon Buster series. The reviews, pretty mediocre. A lot of 5s and 6s out of 10, some 7.5s, but nothing really like stand out or spectacular. It seems like at the very least it's an okay game.
Yeah, it seems like it's relatively rare too. I looked at the price on price charting, and it looks like it goes roughly $82 American for complete in box.
Okay.
So it's not too bad. I just imagine once you do currency conversion, that's probably about $120 here.
Probably. I've heard of Threads of Fate. I'm pretty sure I've heard of Threads of Fate.
The art style reminds me a lot of Dark Cloud, actually.
A little bit. So a lot of these kind of either JRPGs or more kind of anime-ish cartoony games on the PlayStation so far.
Yeah. I mean, I think that makes sense. With the limitations on like 3D models and stuff, I feel like catering towards a more cartoony art style is probably just easier than going realistic.
Yeah. I just find it kind of interesting. Like, I'm just trying to see like what was popular on the various consoles, right? Like if they leaned any specific way.
Yeah, that's fair.
Looks good though. Like it looks pretty solid.
It does.
I might add this one to my list.
Yeah, honestly, this looks like it plays very similar to Dark Cloud. Although I don't remember being able to turn into animals. That's kind of cool.
So, upon looking it up, based on what it says here, the game was pretty well received, but it was considered a commercial disappointment. So it's probably going to be one of those kind of hidden gem style games, Chrono Cross. Speaking
honestly,
of like
it probably
hidden
just
gem.
had too much competition.
Probably. That's kind of the problem with certain games. Are they just going to play the opening?
Seems like it.
Hold on. If we can do that, we gotta do it on one, because I love the opening to Chrono Cross. I love the opening to Chrono Cross. It's so good.
I mean, that's fair. I've never seen it. I don't know much about Chrono Cross, to be honest.
It's just a sequel to Chrono Trigger.
Well, I heard it was like a sequel, but it wasn't like officially a sequel, like almost like a spiritual successor type of sequel, but maybe I'm just misremembering.
So here's the deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes place, I believe, in the same universe. It doesn't have any of the same characters. But I think, and I don't believe this is a spoiler, but I know this at least. I think the spirits of the characters from Chrono Trigger show up at one point.
Okay.
I don't know that. It's just what I think I've heard. But I did play this game. I never finished it. It's really long.
That's actually kind of interesting because they've done this with this, obviously, with Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross, but I guess they kind of did it again with Bravely Default between Bravely Default 1 and Bravely Default Second Layer, or End Layer, because they were different characters in the same universe. There was a couple that were from the previous game, but I don't know. I just find it interesting that Square kind of tried that again.
That is interesting. Because, yeah, I think most people consider it like a spiritual sequel. But, like I said, if it does have the quote-unquote spirits of the Chrono Trigger characters show up, it's a sequel, right? You may as well call it a sequel. You know, I know, like, it wasn't well received. Because I think people were expecting more of Chrono Trigger, and they got more, like, of a Final Fantasy, I think.
Okay.
I don't remember the game being bad, but I know I've heard a lot of people go like, "Oh, it's a bad game." I don't think it. Now I need to replay it, mind you, but I don't think it's a bad game. I remember enjoying it from the time I did play it, and
Okay.
I don't know. I think people are just expecting more Chrono Trigger because, as we all know, Chrono Trigger is like the best RPG of all time.
So I've heard. I haven't got around to playing it, unfortunately.
Soon, one day.
Soon, eventually, yes.
So I think people are just expecting that, but because Final Fantasy was just like super huge, right? I
Yeah.
think they did go with more of a Final Fantasy type thing, and I think there are a lot of like party members you can miss. I think. I don't
okay.
actually remember that. I think there's one you can miss. At the very least, maybe a couple. Like, it's not like Suikoden 2 where you can miss like 50 characters or whatever.
Yeah, well, Suikoden's a little bit ridiculous with that, I'll be honest.
Yeah. But I think people expected Chrono Trigger and they got Final Fantasy.
That would make a lot of sense, yeah. Because, yeah, even looking at this combat, it does look a lot like Final Fantasy.
Yeah. So is it a bad game? I don't personally know. Maybe it does have elements to it that are bad that I just don't remember. Or because I was a kid, it didn't click to me.
Maybe.
But I'm kind of surprised they never went back to Chrono. Like, even if Cross was not received too well, I'm surprised they just never went back to the series.
Yeah, honestly, I'm even kind of surprised they haven't done a more recent port for consoles, because, like, the latest port we have would be the one that was on the DS.
You know what would be the biggest shock to me? If one of these years they're like, and here is a remake of Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
That would, I don't know if I would want that.
I honestly, they probably feel the same way. I feel like a lot of fans would probably be very judgmental against it, and even if it's objectively a better game, they'll be like, "Oh, this isn't Chrono Trigger."
Well, I don't know though. See, that was the kind of thing with 7, right? Legend of Mana as well. Wow, and Square had a lot of
Nice.
bangers this year.
Yeah, a lot of good games coming out this year.
Square and Enix.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. But it's kind of the same with 7 though. It's like, why remake 7, right? And that was a lot of people's thoughts, because it's like people are just gonna complain because it's not gonna be 7. But then the remake for 7 came out, and I'm not the minority here, seem to think that it's actually better than the original 7. And, or at the very least, they're a really good companion piece. Like, play them both. They're both great games. The remake and the OG. And they're going to be different enough that you can do that. But, you know, it's like they could do it with 7. Maybe they can do it with Chrono Trigger. I don't know,
If
though.
they put enough time into it, because, I mean, even as someone who had never played Final Fantasy VII before I played Remake, it got me more interested in the series as a whole. It did help. I was playing Final Fantasy XIV around the same time. But it was a very engaging experience and made me want to learn more about the characters and the story, so I ended up playing 7 last year.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It would be a risk. It would definitely be a risk, right? But
yeah,
I think there is a possibility that they could do it and pull it off, but it would be scary. And I can understand why they wouldn't want to do it. Because, like, I'm even here thinking about it, and I'm like, would I want to back? Would I want to back a Chrono Trigger remake if I were in their position? And it's like, there's so much you can get wrong that I don't know if it would really be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I assume, like, whenever they actually get the entirety of the Final Fantasy VII Remake out, they might look to be doing another property, whether it be, like, Final Fantasy X, or 8, or 9, or hell, maybe they would do Chrono Trigger at that point if 7 does really well.
I mean, maybe.
But it would be a risk, yeah, because you would want to modernize it. Unlike how they've been doing with most of their games, even we've seen with Final Fantasy 16, they've kind of turned them more into action RPGs than turn-based. And I don't know, at least from what I know about Chrono Trigger, I don't know if that would work.
I don't think I would like that for Chrono Trigger. I don't think it would really work.
So I don't know if they'll do like another actual turn-based Final Fantasy. Maybe they'll go back to it at some point. You never know.
Maybe.
But with how well the games have been doing, like the 7 remake, even 15, I think even though people didn't like it as much, it did sell pretty well.
Yeah, because it's a Final Fantasy title, right? It's kind of thing. You can slap that label on it; it'll sell well, even if it sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just surprised they haven't gone back to Chrono yet. Made like a third game. Like it really shocks me. Maybe they just decided to put all their eggs into the Final Fantasy basket.
Maybe.
Not too sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try that soon, because even like last year, they were releasing a lot of different RPGs, and from what I understand, probably because they released so many in such a short period of time, they were kind of underselling. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go back to Chrono Trigger, whether it be a full remake or just like a new port, or like a port with additional content or something.
Yeah, I could see that. Also, Megan, it would be fun to play Legend and Secret of Mana at some point.
Yeah, I've honestly been curious about the Mana games because I hear so many people really like them, but I don't know really much of either of them.
Same. I don't really know a ton about either. I know especially less about Legend. Maybe Legend is bad for all I know. I have no clue. I assume not. Especially based on these reviews.
Yeah, it's probably just Secret's just more loved by the fan base.
Probably. Because, like, it seems like Legend of Mana did do pretty well in terms of score. Like, there's one article that gave it a 2 out of 5, but that's, like, the only one. Every other one gave it 4 out of 5s, or 30 out of 40s, or 7 out of 10s.
Yeah, like, I'm sure it's a decently good game. I will eventually play one of the remakes that came out a while ago.
Yeah, I guess it did get a remake, didn't it?
Yeah, or at least a port or something. I have one of them. I don't remember if it's Legend of Mana or Secret of Mana, though. I have to actually figure out which one I got.
I think Secret came out on Steam, if that's one you're thinking of.
No, I'm pretty sure the one I have is on Switch. I'd have to look through my games and see. I think I bought it when it was on sale during a Boxing Day thing.
I mean, to be fair, if it came out on Steam, it probably also came out on Switch.
I mean, probably. Parasite Eve 2.
Wait, we have another bopping intro. Hold on.
Let me just slow this down.
Let me just slow this down. But yeah, that one's co-op too, I think, Secret of Mana, right? So we could play it together.
Oh, I didn't know it had co-op.
Yeah, I think it has co-op. Now, let me just talk about Parasite Eve 2. I'm sorry, you want to talk real quick? Go. You have a moment.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go, Megan. Go, Megan.
I'm done.
Go,
I'm done.
Go.
I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, because I want to talk the shop about Parasite Eve 2. I love Parasite Eve 2. So I won't do copies, which 2 of them I'm going to sell. But yeah, I love Parasite Eve 2. Parasite Eve 2 is like the only game where one of the very few games where I broke my no sequel before the original game rule. And I absolutely love Parasite Eve 2. It's one of my favorite games on the PlayStation. I love the story, I love the characters, and I'm gonna replay this on stream sometime because I did stream this game a long time ago. Yeah. And it was great. It was fun. I loved it. But I actually fucked up because I didn't get the best ending. Because I made one small error that I completely forgot about. And because I did that, I actually missed out on like another character story. And so that's literally haunted me ever since, where I'm like, I never actually like properly did it. So when I go and replay it again on stream, it'll be a redemption. Because I know where I messed up. I actually remember where I messed up. And I've had this in my memory for like, 2-3 years or something since I did it.
I think it's been 3 or 4, because I remember watching at least a little bit of the gameplay while you were streaming. And that's back when I was still living at home.
Yeah, so 3 or 4 years, something like that. It was a long time ago. But I remember distinctly where I messed up. So it's been there. It
haunted you.
It's been haunting me. So I really want to go back and fix my mistake. Like, honestly, I might even do that when I find my copy, which I'm pretty sure I still have, of Parasite Eve 1. Because I swear I have a copy of that. But I just don't know where it is. And I want to look for it.
To try and find it.
Yeah. Because that one, if I need to rebuy, I will. Parasite Eve 1. I don't think I need to, but I will rebuy it if I have to.
Well, yeah.
And then if I find the old one later, then I guess I can just sell it for like a bit less than what I paid for it, but whatever, it's fine.
I mean, you could probably get a decent amount for it, to be honest.
If I do indeed have that copy. But like, look at this. Look how beautiful this is, right? Like, look at it. The camera work, the camera angles, and watch as it pans to the crash helicopter here in a moment, right? It's like, oh, the bodies. It's like, fuck, what are they called? I don't remember what the men baddies are called. Watch, they're gonna pan. Oh, look at
not
this.
A real fan.
Well, they're called like I don't know. It's something. It's something very not normal. Yeah, I don't remember.
He remembers by the end of this segment.
I don't remember what they're called. They're called like, I want to start with like, look at that. Look how creepy that is. That creeped me out as a kid.
Creepy.
Right?
Freeze.
Like the only bit of voice acting in the whole game too, by the way. I think it's meant to like creep you out because you don't hear it like ever. And even in video games in general back then, you never heard voice acting really. So to just like,
yeah, it was pretty rare.
So just like hear a guy go freeze. It's like scary as hell. God, this game is so good. Man, this is just making me want to play first save. Megan, we need to find my copy of the original.
Yeah.
And this game also taught me how you pronounce Mojave, because you go to the Mojave Desert, which is right here.
Oh,
and I remember when I played the game for the first time, I was like, oh, the Mojave Desert.
Mojave.
And then I had to be corrected that, no, it's actually Mojave. And I was like, whoa, a J can make that sound?
Yeah.
And that's when I learned about how other places use the alphabet. And that guy ran away from a battle. He did it wrong. You don't do that. You don't run away from battles.
Ooh. Oh. Yeah, it's a little terrifying. It's like as big as a horse, man. Is that supposed to be a horse?
Yeah, so it's like a horse. So it's like a horse with a human face, basically.
Oh, that's creepy.
It is. It scared the shit out of me when I was younger. Like legitimately, I would actually be like having a bath or something, and I would think, what if that thing just like suddenly existed and like barged into the bathroom? Because like it's so scary. It's such a scary enemy. So many enemies in that game like scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. Resident Evil Survivor, huh?
And like it even made a sound that was like, when
Okay, that's funny.
It's really creepy though, like with the face.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love first save too. So Resident Evil Survivor. So I'm currently playing through all the Resident Evil games, but I skipped Survivor because I don't think it's like considered canon. And I'm trying to keep it like the canon games only, or at least the games that I see as canon. But I don't think Survivor was considered good, and I don't think it was considered canon, so I decided not to do it.
Okay.
Where am I? Oh.
Because I think it's like a first-person on-rail shooter. Interestingly enough, I think. Oh no, it's just a first-person Resident Evil. I think that's why it was considered not that great.
Yeah. I imagine that would have been pretty wonky at this time period. Everything was third person, really.
Yeah.
You look familiar, but I just can't remember.
Yeah, I don't think any of these characters ever made a reappearance either.
I know that this was no way not to die. What?
But that's the same zombie model from Resident Evil 2, funnily enough. At least I
Yeah,
think
that
that's
makes
2.
sense.
And that's another one from 2. So you can tell I've played a lot of Resident Evils if I can look at the models, see what clothes they're wearing, and go, oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I wonder why they decided to try a first-person RE.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it was a new thing they thought might be an upcoming trend.
Maybe. Yeah, one thing that may have been it, because I think Code Veronica came out either this same year or before this, because I think it was actually in the 99 one. Not in the one we saw, but in the one I was skimming through, I did see Code Veronica in there for Dreamcast.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was in the Dreamcast version, but I know in the version I played for the GameCube, which I assume had all the same stuff the Dreamcast edition did. There's one mode in the game, an extra mode after you beat it, where you can choose first person view to like go through, to like run through, basically kill all the enemies kind of modes, right?
Okay.
And it's actually not that bad. It's fun enough. So I'm almost wondering if maybe they saw that people like that and they're like, okay, what if we do a whole game like that?
Maybe.
And it's like, well, it doesn't really work if you do the whole game like that. Now Resident Evil does that, funnily enough. Now they do first person games. And apparently, well, with I think Village and 7, right? I think those are both first person, I think.
I believe they both are, yeah.
So in a weird way, they kind of circled back to it and now it's working. But back then, it didn't. So I've never heard of this game, by the way.
Neither have I. Oh.
Okay, and I looked it up because the Parasite Eve enemy thing was bugging me because I knew it was really simple. They're called NMCs.
NMCs, huh?
Or neo-mitochondrial creatures, I think.
Oh, okay.
Too early, Angel. I'm not dead yet.
I need to get Megan to play the Parasite Eve games too. Maybe I'll bug her to do that soon.
Maybe.
Be like, yo, Megan, play
Maybe.
PE1 and PE2, please.
Business. What can you possibly accomplish in your condition? You can't even hold your gun steady.
Well, no unless I try. I think I'm not gonna die unless I shoot it 2 or 3 times.
Oh.
Hmm.
Here, use this.
So interesting. So it's a variety on PlayStation so far from what we've seen.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is very Parasite Eve 1
Oh.
actually. This is interesting.
Tactics game, okay.
Like a tactical game where you play in a more modern-ish setting against like creatures. That's interesting. Huh. Oh, I'm gonna look this game up. Kodelka?
Yeah.
Role-playing video game. This must have been inspired by the original Parasite Eve at least a little bit.
I mean,
It's set in
possibly.
Wales.
It is pretty creepy.
Oh yeah, I guess the company that made it was was created by a guy who was a former employee of Square. So that actually does track both of how it looks and kind of gives the same feeling as Parasite Eve to me, at least.
That's fair.
What was the reception? Pretty middle of the road to above average by the looks of it. I think I'm gonna add this one to my list of games to pick up at some point though, because it seems unique and I like that.
It
It
does seem
seems
pretty
different.
cool, yeah.
Really? Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess my time is up. Hey, Angel. I'm not gonna ask you to take me to heaven. Will you pray for me at least?
Are you out of your mind? There's no bloody way I'm going to pray for you. But I guess I owe you because you saved me too.
See, it's Kodelka. Fuck, I keep spelling it as Laudelka.
Okay, let's go. Stand up or I'll leave you here.
What happened?
Okay, there we go.
It doesn't hurt anymore. I'm cured.
Yeah, and so I cured you, so what?
You? You cured me. But I was almost dead. I'm confused. So you really are an
Don't
angel?
be foolish. Do you really think that there are angels?
You know,
out
I
there?
actually really appreciate the animations
Medium with a little
in this.
I met her plenty.
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
But you don't look too wholesome yourself.
I wonder if they mocapped it.
And this is no place for people like you. Why did you
I can see them doing that and then doing the rig off of that, right?
At the son of
Yeah.
a family bought an old monastery.
It's like just how he's moving his hands, right, and his arms.
Yeah.
It's very
I
expressive.
don't know. I came all this way to put a poor man's fear of God into this rich bastard. So far, I haven't found anything. Then this monster attacked me. I almost got killed. If you come any later, no doubt I'd be singing hymns in his stomach right now.
Shouldn't have bought such a good horse. She's too
Too bad
fast.
you won't be hearing me sing those hymns. When I was a boy, I was a pretty good soprano.
If you don't stop talking, I'll leave you here. My name is Kadelka, and I'm only going to say this once, so don't forget. If you want to get out of here alive, I suggest you stick very close. Got it?
Charmed, I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. You know, honestly, I think why I kind of like the look of that Tenchu 2 is probably just because it does seem like a mix of both Resident Evil and Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
So Tenchu. I never actually played any of the Tenchu games.
Neither have I.
But I've heard they're good.
Run away.
Cheese it. I mean, I think part of the thing is with Tenchu is you don't really want to be in combat, right? Because you're a ninja or something, right?
Yeah.
So I think getting in combat is considered pretty bad in the game. You need to be all stealthy and stuff.
I mean, that's fair.
Once again, coming from someone that has never played it, but just kind of has like what I've heard about the game.
Yeah.
So he's not really too sure how to play this.
I mean, it's probably pretty different than what most people have played at the time, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Because most people at this point would have been like, oh yeah, combat. Unless you played Tenchu 1, which maybe then you would know.
Maybe.
But who knows if the guy playing this even did play Tenchu 1?
I would assume probably not.
I got spotted. The enemy. Okay, very nice.
Oh, he's like literally stuck in the pole.
Monster Rancher 2. I love Monster Rancher, the series. I've been trying to get Megan to like play them, but she's played them a little bit and then she just drops them without. And I'm not trying to call you out, Megan. I promise. This isn't supposed to be the call out Megan recording.
Maybe it is.
But it is true. You do play them for a bit, and then you seem to enjoy them, and then you just kind of stop.
Yeah,
and then you forget about them.
I'm not really sure why.
Because, like, I actually do want to do a recording series for both Monster Rancher 1 and 2. Recording because the gameplay, admittedly, is very slow, even if, like, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Punk. He's just punk. I like it.
Punk.
So like there'd be a lot of downtime where like you're just training your monster and there's not really much to show. But there's something fun about it. Like it's hard to explain. I feel like if you're watching the game and you don't know anything about it, you're not really going to have as much enjoyment. But if you're playing it, you know, there's something different, you know? Like it's more fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Monster Rancher 1 and 2. Never played 3, I don't think. Punk as well.
Punk as well. Oh, we're going to a tournament.
Yeah, so for those that don't know about Monster Rancher, what you do is you get a monster and you train it up, and then you take it to tournaments where the monster can fight for themselves, or you can tell them what to do. And then if you win, you get money, fame, etc. Your monster gets older, and they will either die, or if you want to be smart with it and play the game properly, you will get another monster and then fuse and then like put that one monster in ice, get a new monster, train the new monster up, and then later on fuse them to make a stronger monster.
Yeah.
Fusion is kind of a pretty important aspect of the game. But the fusions can like mess up sometimes. I don't remember what it is, but like there's something related to the fusion that they might go wrong, or you might have a lower efficiency or like worse chance of getting certain stats or something. So like, you know, I guess can be kind of annoying, but yeah, a fun game, I think. Space Battleship Yamato 2.
Yeah, I can't say I've heard of this, but looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I didn't even know they made a game about Space Battleship Yamato. So I believe it's an anime series, I think.
Yeah, like this does seem to be based off an anime series.
By the way, Megan, I talked a lot during Monster Rancher 2. I'm sorry. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Well, no, it's okay. I didn't really have a lot to say about it. Like, I did enjoy the game for what it was. I don't know if it was just the tedium of like training the monster or what. I didn't enjoy that quite as much, and I don't know. Maybe I have to be in a very specific mood to play games like that, and then like I kind of forget about it if I don't play it for a while.
Okay. If you ever feel like I'm talking too much, by the way, feel free just to like jump in. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Good.
Or just say like, hey, I just want to like say something real quick. And it's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have a quick sip of water.
Yep.
Which I am apparently almost out.
Well, no.
It's okay. In theory, I could either pause or have Megan take over while I go get water. I won't do it yet, but that might happen eventually because I'm kind of intrigued by this. Because it looked like there was like a top-down aspect of the game, and now you're in the actual battleship.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, seems pretty cool to me.
Yeah, it does.
可動砲へエネミー回路接続滝音粒子出力上昇総員対色対先行防御チェアロック解除バイアス限界へ発射10秒前9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1波動砲発射
Pew. Nice.
おそらく軌道上から艦砲射撃を受けたんだろう敵が地表に兵を下ろしていないことを祈るしかないな
Yeah, I don't know if this game would have come out in English.
アーム手榴弾だ破壊力重視だ
I mean, it's here, so maybe
Possibly
it
not.
did. But I could see it being one of those games where, like, it just doesn't, you know?
うまく浮いているわ
Anime
Yeah,
at this
maybe it
time
was planned to and it got canceled.
Yeah, maybe. Like, because anime at this time was still very niche, like, incredibly niche. Like, this
Yeah.
was the time of anime. Now, people that are younger won't know about, like, this kind of thing. But, like, this was kind of the point in anime where, like, you would have a lot of people that are, like, some people are really dedicated to it, and you would, like, trade videotapes around.
Yeah.
So, like, that's how niche anime was. You couldn't just go into a store and find it. You had to, like, talk to other people that were really into anime and be like, hey, can I just have, like, your VHS? I'll, like, trade you something back if you want. Like, like, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Also, of course, it's got muted. DDR, second mix. Yeah.
I mean, that does make a lot of sense.
That does make a lot of sense. So, yeah, like, very niche was anime back then. It's really weird to kind of think about just how modern and how everybody is into anime now. And I don't say that, like, in a bad way. I'm not elitist about it.
No.
But, it's just true. Everybody's into anime now. But back then it was like, if you're into anime, it's like, whoa, you're kind of a loser. Now it's really cool to be in it. Now, I was never, like, I was never called a loser for it. But I also didn't really watch anime until, like, a bit later into the 2000s, like mid 2000s ish, I think, is if we're not counting like Sailor Moon and DBZ and Pokemon and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I was at the point where, like, yeah, you're still kind of a loser for watching anime, but more people are kind of starting to do it.
Yeah, I didn't start watching anime until I was almost in high school. The first like actual anime I watched would have been Death Note, not counting like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and those, because I don't really consider those anime.
Yeah, like they're anime, but it's hard for us to consider that anime,
Because we've always watched with the English dub, and the English dub makes it more like a cartoon. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got a B, not bad. You're grooving.
This is a great song. Hey. Here's another one.
was gonna make a joke and say, "Oh, he said it's a great song," and then it got muted, but it didn't actually get muted this time.
That would have been a good joke, though. That would have been a really good joke. I just want to see if that Yamato game ever came out on in NA. You look at him go.
Between two jump or dance pads, I could talk.
Yeah, I think some of them were like that. It depends on like the kind of map style you go for, I think.
Okay, I don't think I ever played it that way. I know I played it on the dance mat at least a couple times, but it was only ever with one. Seems like the guy that was sitting behind him was like trying to play with him a little bit.
A little bit.
Indiana Jones, huh?
And the Inferno Machine.
Oh, it's a Factor 5 game. That's kind of cool.
So I can't actually find the video game for NA at all. So it may have not gotten released here. Like, I'm not finding anything. I'm not finding like a wiki article or anything. Like, I see one on eBay here. It's like PS1 2005, but I don't know if that means it got delayed and came out in 2005 for NA. It doesn't look like it. This might also just be the DVD.
Delay.
Oh, no, this is like PlayStation. No, I want to say it was probably only released in Japan.
Most likely.
Because I'm finding only Japanese copies.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It's not going for a lot of money, though, funnily enough.
Well, I can't imagine there's a lot of demand for it.
Wow, just because it's an anime game, Megan?
No, I just think there's a lot of people like me that never really heard of it, and the people who were into anime probably play more recent games than like on the PS1, anyway.
Potentially.
Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with the game.
I know. Don't worry. So now we're leaving PlayStation and going on to the N64, huh?
Yeah.
I like how... What the fuck? RE0? On the N64?
Ooh.
That game never came out.
No?
No, that game was GameCube. GameCube only.
Oh, so it must have got delayed to the GameCube then. That's interesting.
It must have. That's interesting, because I actually did play Zero not too long ago. So it's weird to see it on the Nintendo 64. So this would have come out... Yeah, it's the same logo and everything, too. Because the one I played would have come out in, like, what, I think 2005 originally?
Wow.
2001, maybe. Maybe 2001. Yeah, this is interesting. Fall 2000, that didn't happen. The same kind of opening, though. It's the exact same opening as in the version that I played. Where, like, you find a body on the ground, and then the zombies, like, corner you in the train car. So they definitely had the idea for it. I wonder how much stayed the same, but just got, like, upgraded in terms of graphics.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of it stayed the same.
Because, like, this whole area is, like, exact. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, as I say, maybe they just saw that the N64's lifespan was nearing its end, so instead of releasing it for it, they decided to just try and port it to the next system.
Probably. Yeah, so it came out on GameCube in 2002.
Okay.
Because, yeah, this level layout is, like, near identical to what it is later. So it is very possible that they did just, like, have the game built, and then they're like, yeah, let's wait for the GameCube, and then they just moved everything. Like, literal... Oh, yeah, it's Billy, too. So, yeah, maybe they just moved literally everything to GameCube and just upped the graphics.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And they probably didn't have the character swapping mechanic between Rebecca and Billy.
Probably not.
Like, you probably just play it as Rebecca. I'm actually really amazed at just how, like, familiar this is. On episode 1, Battle for Naboo. So there you go. That was something that I didn't think I'd see.
Did they release 2 separate games? Because this looks almost identical to Starfighter that came out on the PS2. I wonder if they renamed it.
I don't know. I think I have Battle for Naboo.
Okay, well maybe they came out with 2. Because the one I played specifically, you only really played in the Starfighter. You didn't have this little skiff or whatever he's got here.
Hold on, let me see.
Paper Mario!
Paper Mario. After they dropped the Mario RPG moniker.
Yeah, I guess they fully decided what kind of style they wanted to go for.
Okay, so yeah, Battle for Naboo. I'm gonna look up Starfighter. Okay, so Battle for Naboo came out like a year earlier, I think.
Oh, okay.
And it was yeah, for like the N64. Whereas the other ones are like PS2 and Xbox and I guess later PS3.
Oh, okay.
Well, it got like remade or ported to PS3.
Yeah, because I originally had it for PS2, and it was a very early PS2 game because it was the only game I had that had the blue disc. I don't think I have it anymore, unfortunately, but I remember playing it a lot when we first got our PS2.
Yes, that's interesting. Yeah, because I guess Battle for Naboo just plays more like Rogue Squadron.
Okay.
No, I don't know. That's interesting. I've never played Starfighter, so you and I are kind of the opposites in that regard. I never played Starfighter, and you never played Battle for Naboo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, I love Paper Mario a lot.
Paper Mario's cool.
Never played Thousand Year Door. I'm sorry, everybody. I know I'm letting you all down by saying that, but I love the original. I have Thousand Year Door though. I've owned it for like many years now, and I've just never played it.
Yeah, I bought it quite a few years ago too.
But the original Paper Mario, I absolutely love. Yeah, showing off a few of the different environments. Do, 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 do. That's so cool. Like, look at the variety, right?
Yeah.
Like places you can go. Dinosaur Planet.
Planet.
Fucking Star Fox Adventure. That's right. This is when Shigeru Miyamoto was like, I don't know what this is. Just make it Star Fox.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, if it came out with dinosaurs, that'd be pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, it had dinosaurs. That's what Star Fox Adventure was. You're on like a dinosaur planet.
Oh, okay. It just seems like, at least in this version, dinosaurs were, well, more of the main focus.
I mean, they're probably more of the main focus, but like, yeah, no, dinosaurs are a pretty big part of a Star Fox Adventure, I think.
Okay.
Like I said, you're on literally a whole planet for them. No, that's fine.
I do remember hearing that they tried to develop this game and then they're like, nah, let's put in Star Fox characters, make it more recognizable.
Well, yeah, I think that was Miyamoto himself that did that. I don't even know if that was like Rare that decided upon that. Personally, I think it probably should have stayed Dinosaur Planet. But I haven't played Star Fox Adventure recently, so maybe it's not as bad as I remember. It's probably okay.
I remember hearing it was okay, but it was very weird for a Star Fox game.
Oh yeah, very different. Since, you know, you're not in your R-Wing for like any of it, I don't think. Which is very much against the Star Fox formula.
Do a barrel roll.
But yeah, exactly. Star Fox was all about being in the R-Wing and like being like arcade space shooter.
Yeah.
Kite, help me out.
And there's Tricky. You know, they had a very Star Fox-like character, though. I'm not really surprised. They're like, well, let's just make it Star Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, that seems neat. That did seem pretty neat.
Yeah.
But once again, though, another game that was meant for the N64 that came out on GameCube.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a decent amount of the ones we see here that end up coming out on GameCube.
I noticed the dinosaur on the upper right, I think, has his own health bar. That's kind of neat.
Okay, that is cool.
I don't know if that's what it is. I'm just taking a guess, but
it looks like it.
It looks like it. Concrete's Bad Fur Day. Here we go. The official rebranding of Twisted Tales. Imagine going to the previous E3s and then seeing like Conker back then, and then coming here and being like, whoa, Conker suddenly really changed.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, they're showing Beach Assault, of course. That makes a lot of sense. Because the Saving Private Ryan level was really fun.
It was fun.
And really good. And I guess it's also a good way to show off that, yeah, this isn't your typical Rare game.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, wait a minute. There's puking? And guns? And oh, that squirrel got his head shot off.
Traumatized for life.
Yeah. Like, it's just so different. Like, you want to talk about a game being different? It's like, here's Rare. Memories of Donkey Kong. And, like... Shit, like, I'm trying to think what other games they had at this time.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Perfect Dark.
Yeah, Perfect Dark, GoldenEye.
Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, and then you see this, and it's like, damn. It's like here's like Donkey Kong, but like if things died, you know, it was to bullets, you know.
Yeah.
And if there's like actual proper blood and guts and gore. Teddies. Oh, he's dead. You gotta do it, Conker. Hell yeah. Yeah, Megan, one day I need to buy Live and Reloaded, I think the remake was called, and just show you like how it's not bad, but it's also definitely not like Conker, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometime we should do multiplayer. Bad Fur Day. So I think they had some pretty fun multiplayer modes.
Yeah, I didn't know it had multiplayer.
Yeah, it did. I mean, you could play the multiplayer single player if you wanted. I think they had like AI bots that could take over. But they had like multiple mini games. They had one where it was like pick up weapons and then kill the other players in a very like GoldenEye style game mode, interestingly enough. And then they had another one where it's like you could be a bunch of squirrels in some trenches and the other player could be like some teddies up in a bunker. And it's like, well, can you get the squirrels too, or will you lose them to your opponent's teddies, right?
Okay.
Hey, Greg. It's such a silly way to like have lives in the game.
Yeah.
But yet it makes sense.
It does. My God, I love Greg. He's so good. He's just so funny. He is pretty funny.
See, I do love how this main hub area too, I think is supposed to really invoke Banjo-Kazooie, because it also has like a spiraling platform that goes up in the center. But yet it's just wrong, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so great. I love Rare, dude. I wish they were still how they used to be. Look at this, they're farting and stuff. It's funny. I mean, it's very immature, but for the time, it's funny, right? And in the game, it's funny. Flammable. This is pretty neat. See, I love these characters too. These characters are really fun. I like that character too.
Yeah.
They're showing off a lot of the game.
They are.
A lot of different areas. I guess they want to introduce a lot of the characters just so you know generally what kind of quirky characters you'll meet.
Yeah, they probably wanted to show enough off to show that it's really not the same game it was.
Yeah, true. Probably that too.
Well, that, and it seems like they're leaning into the crude humor being a big part of their marketing too.
Yeah. Which at the time was very in with South Park and everything.
Yeah.
He did what you usually did.
I did that a couple times. It's a little hard. Okay.
I do like how he falls off once. He's like, okay, yeah, let's move on.
Well, yeah. People don't have patience.
I remember this bit too. Tally-ho.
Hello.
I didn't even get to the part where like bad things happen.
No.
Oh, this bit.
Oh, I hated this part. It was so hard.
Yeah, you hated the lava boarding. This bit though was pretty fun.
This bit was fun. Lava boarding, not so much.
Booba. Me big boner. I like this character too. If you can't tell, I like a lot of the characters in Conquer.
Well, yeah.
Send in Fengy. What the? Oh, is it Fangy? It's okay, Fangy looks friendly. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Oh. And yes, Conquer has a frying pan, don't worry about it. It's not how you do it. He's not a traditional boss guy who's playing it. Oh dear.
Okay then.
Take my big bone and smash the squirrel. I do like how you go for it and he's just like, no, no, no. And then we have Banjo Tooie.
Oh, yeah.
The duality of rare. I'm showing off the eggs. Okay, that makes sense. and the mini games.
Okay. I've never played Banjo-Tooie, so I don't know much about the game.
Have you ever played like OG Banjo?
I played a very little amount of OG Banjo, but never got very far.
Yeah, it has a first person section. It's kind of like they wanted to have like a game where there are also a lot of mini games in it.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, kind of think of how like Final Fantasy VII is, right? How like it has a main game, but it also happens to have a lot of mini games.
Yeah.
That you just kind of play as you go through it. And I remember this too being a big deal. It's like, oh, you can split them up
Whoa.
and actually fly
Yeah.
as Kazooie when you want, I think. Whoa.
The multiplayer. I love how they basically turned it into the GoldenEye multiplayer, but with Kazooie.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, look, this is the Golden Saucer in 14. Mario Tennis. Wow, that was a different looking menu screen.
Yeah.
See, I love Mario Tennis as well. I really enjoy it.
Mario Tennis is fun.
15 all.
So what are we seeing from Nintendo mostly so far? Have there been like any like genres that they've kind of stuck to? Or does it seem like there's a lot of variety?
It seems like there's a decent amount of variety. At least I can't think of a particular genre they've been showing a lot of.
Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts too. That's my thinking as well. Because it seems like there's a lot of variety for Nintendo. At least in what we've seen. Never played this game, by the way.
Neither have I.
I think I've heard of it. Yeah, guys, playing it pretty all right.
Yeah.
Pokemon Puzzle League.
Puzzle League. I've heard this game is so good. I actually got it on the 3DS eShop like years ago and played very little of it, but it was fun.
I have it on the N64.
Well, yeah, I know. You bragging about all your N64 games.
Yeah, I do. Because some of these are harder to find now, right? So if I get
I
one like
imagine a lot
this,
of them are, yeah.
it's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna brag about it. Like Buck Bumble, I have Buck Bumble. I don't know how hard that one is to get, but I have it and I like it. Pokemon Puzzle League, I know it's good.
Hard.
So it's like, oh, you know, I have it. I have Puzzle League. It's great.
That's fair. I just didn't collect any N64 games after my dad sold our console when I was like 10. So I mostly have like old PlayStation or PS1 games.
Hey, you Pikachu!
Oh, no. Matthew is trying really hard to convince me to play this game, and I keep telling him no every single time.
I love Hey You Pikachu, not necessarily because it's like a great game. It's just very unique.
It is
right?
very unique.
And I think it's a fun idea. It's not a good game by any means, really. Like, it has its fun elements to it. But like, it could be better.
Yeah. StarCraft?
Yeah, I guess they had a StarCraft 64.
That's crazy. I didn't know it was on anything but PC.
That is pretty crazy. I assume it wasn't that great.
I mean, probably not. I imagine trying to play a game like StarCraft on the N64 controller is probably really hard.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's kind of a cool piece of history, though.
It is. Carriers.
Oh, the
Kirby and the
Crystal Shard.
Crystal Shard, yeah. Good one. Beating up Woody's kids. Or Woodsies.
I like how the apples just roll
kids.
around. Ah, he be angry.
He is pretty mad. I love the Kirby music sped up.
Yeah,
Kirby
it kind of
music
just
sped up's
sounds
pretty
like
fun.
a chiptune.
Flame sword. Yeah, so you gotta get the flame power.
I mean, flame power is pretty good.
Oh, I mean, you just threw away your power
Yeah.
for no reason.
It seems like a lot of the animations they're using for Kirby are very close to what they are in Smash.
Yeah, I could see them using a lot of animations.
At least for the ones that are not power specific anyway.
Drill Kirby.
Drill. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, if you think about it, Kirby's kind of a lot like Mega Man, and how he can use all these like powers and stuff, like drill
Yeah, kind
powers
of.
and everything. Kirby's basically in. Well, I was gonna say Nintendo's Mega Man, but I guess like Mega Man was on the Nintendo before PlayStation kind of took it.
I mean, yeah.
Kirby's basically like Mega Man though, just small and pink, instead of robotic and blue.
Yeah. He's cuter, Mega Man.
He's cuter than Mega Man, yeah, fair. But Mega Man is less inherently evil.
I don't know. Would you say the pink puffball's evil?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, he's basically an Eldritch god that has like unlimited power and potential.
I suppose.
And he eats things alive.
That's true. ED.
Majora's
Majora.
Mask. Here we go. Ooh. Gotta love Majora. We talked about this in 99, I think. I love Majora so much. I'm trying so hard to get Megan to play Majora, but play like the original Majora and not like remake Majora or remaster Majora. Because there are things about it that I don't personally like that aren't in the original. That the original I think does better. I can't tell her what though, because some of it is spoilers.
There's a lot of good quality of life stuff in the 3DS remake.
No, Megan, no. No.
I'm not allowed any quality of life, Rip.
No. Megan, trust me. You say there's a lot of quality of life in it, but you don't truly know. You don't truly know. Yeah, but I'm going to tell you this, Megan. I played a lot of Majora. I'll say I'm some sort of expert to a degree. And the original has better stuff in it.
Okay.
It's okay. When you play the original, I will literally show you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because the guy did make a pretty good video on it. Nexpo, I think his name is. If anyone's curious, Nexpo. No, not Nexpo. Is it? Wait, hold on. While we go through Majora, I'm kind of. I think Nexpo might be someone else.
Ooh. You can't send your people to the wrong channels.
I can't. Okay, Nexpo is someone else, but I think it's someone else who I do enjoy. Okay, never mind. So you can check out next post because next post cool, but hold on, Majora bad remake. Oh, Nerrel, 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 Nerrel. Yeah, that's him. That's the one.
Okay.
Specifically, his video was Majora's Mask 3D a bad remake? Spoilers. The answer is yeah, kind of.
Ooh, Dreamcast.
But OG Majora is so good. Okay, so now we're moving on to Dreamcast. So I'm gonna have very little to probably really say about this because I never had a Dreamcast. So,
Yeah, I don't know much of Dreamcast games aside from like Shenmue and a couple others.
Yeah, so in most games on here, unless it got a port, I'm mostly not gonna know about. I would like to get a Dreamcast one day. Lose. And 2001, next year should be the end and death of the Dreamcast, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Or is that when it comes out? No, because it would have been out by this point.
Yeah, it was already out. I think it came in 99.
Probably.
Test Drive V Rally.
Okay, kind of interesting that we're seeing 2 racing games in a row for Dreamcast. Unless they themed it. Unless they themed what they show and kind of stuck the similar games together. Which would make sense.
Maybe. It would make sense if this is supposed to be like a game store reel or something. He's not having very luck. He's rolling over.
He's like, man, I just want to play like Mario Kart. I want to play this.
Honestly, with how much the physics are on the rough side of the road, I could see a lot of people, probably including myself, getting very motion sick from that.
Probably. Sonic Team.
Yeah, Sonic Adventure 2.
Is it? Oh, it is. But that's a different
yeah,
logo, though.
Yeah.
Yin Yang. Where's Shadow? There's Shadow. Light Shadow. Okay. Right on the nose. Truth, lie. Original, fake. Future, past. Chaos, cosmos? What?
Yeah, apparently.
I don't think those 2 are opposites.
No.
So I did play Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube because I never played the original. I liked it. I actually heard Adventure DX was very bug heavy compared to the original. But I like the I like DX. I liked Adventure DX. Adventure 2 DX, excuse me.
Yeah, I played some Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube, but I never actually owned it, so we mostly played a few of the early levels and some of the multiplayer. Another racing game.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so it looks like here the Sega Dreamcast was officially discontinued on March 31st after 2001.
Okay, so literally the next year after this.
Yeah, literally the next year after this. So Dreamcast probably officially exiting from E3 after this. So this is like their goodbye, and then Microsoft will kind of slide right on in and fill that gap.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how they slid in literally almost the same time they left.
Yeah. Spawn. I might have played this one. No, maybe I didn't. No, this is like a fighting game, I guess. No, I don't think I would have played this one.
Yeah, I've never played it either.
Destroy the Mafia. Oh, no, this one I would have played. Maybe, I don't know, I played a Spawn game. I don't think it was this one, though. We might have actually seen that Spawn game in one of the previous E3s, and I just don't remember.
That's likely.
Yeah, Spawn as a franchise, really interesting. Evil Dead, Hail to the King. I remember this one. So Megan only knows Ashley Williams from Poker Night 2, funnily enough.
Yeah, which we've been doing on our own time a little bit recently.
Yeah, that one I'm not making into content, Megan.
I know.
I know, I'm just bugging. I'm just bugging, Megan.
I'm more mean for the narrative games. Come on. Honestly, Poker Night's funny, but I don't see how you'd make that into content more than a couple episodes without it getting repetitive.
Yeah, nah, I wouldn't want to do that.
Or like a stream or two, maybe.
Yeah, maybe like a stream or two, just show me lose in really, really silly ways. See, it's funny because I can play the game really well when I'm by myself. I actually have like a net gain in terms of money won, and it's actually not super small. But when I played for Megan, I lose like way more often than I win, to the point where I'm just like barely scraping by in that game in terms of like negative money. Like it doesn't matter how much money you actually have.
No.
It literally doesn't mean anything. It's just purely for you to really care about.
Fraggin raids.
Yeah, Fraggin raids basically. Like a screenshot to show on Reddit. But Echo the Dolphin.
Oh, Echo the Dolphin. You know, I never actually played this one. I did play the GBA version of Echo the Dolphin.
I played the one on the Nintendo a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then I did
assume
play.
That would have been the same one.
Maybe. And then I did play one of the 3D ones on. I think it was ported to PS2.
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't know for sure. I know I did play a 3D Echo, and it was Yeah, I won't say much. I don't really remember that much, but that's probably for a reason. You know?
Probably. That's generally how it works.
The water looked good.
It did?
You know, I would be curious how it would be if you like had a game where you played like not like a sea creature with like psychic powers and shit like Echo, but
yeah,
you know, if you played like just a proper sea creature and you could like swim around the ocean and go into the deep spooky depths.
That'd be cool. Honestly, I'd definitely play a game like that.
Yeah, I just want more underwater games.
Yeah.
So like the ones we get are pretty good, and I like they can be really creepy, even when they're not necessarily supposed to be. I don't know. I just think it's fun. I think it's neat. Sonic Shuffle.
Never heard of this one. Oh, it's like a Mario Party ripoff.
Yeah, it's like a Mario Party ripoff. I don't think it was considered that good.
That's probably why I've never heard of it. Plus, I can't imagine a lot of Sonic fans really like the game board type of gameplay.
Probably not. You know, they're just kind of going back to like underwater games real quick. I just kind of want to mention this one game that I saw that I see on Twitter like all the time, and that I'm kind of actively following the development of now because
Oh,
it's really
okay.
intrigued me. It's called Full Fathom.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think the idea is you're in the submarine and you're like underwater, and the dev says he's going to include like a lot of really Jet Grand Radio. Is that what they called Jet Set before it became Jet Set?
They must have changed names during development because it's almost identical to what I played of Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, they probably just thought Jet Set sounded better.
Yeah.
Even though you grind a lot. But anyway, yeah, just Full Fathom real quick. The dev says he's gonna add like a lot of spooky like creatures to it, and you're like underwater, and there's lots of seaweed and stuff. It looks really good. Look at Full Fathom. It seems like a really good game. And I'm probably gonna buy it the day it comes out. So yeah, it's probably gonna make a lot of other people mad at me, but I've never played Jet Set Radio.
I've only played very little of it.
You know, this is another game series that I'm kind of surprised we never saw more of.
Yeah.
Despite like because it was really popular, right?
It was pretty popular. It just wasn't played as much because I think it was only on the Dreamcast at the time, right?
I believe so.
But yeah, this would have come out like in the peak popularity of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, so people probably would have been into this even though you're rollerblading instead. Very similar gameplay. The animation's hilarious.
Now they're coming.
Run!
Well, I see the arrow. I see the arrow. Go to it. Tag. Do your tagging. Judo. It seems like such an interesting game.
Yeah.
There you go. Now he's getting it.
Yeah, he's understanding finally. I don't blame him.
Oh no, you're not running.
They're like attached to him. Okay, that's funny.
What?
Another racing game.
F355 Challenge? Yeah, so it seems like the Dreamcast has a lot of racing games.
Yeah. I
It's
don't know, maybe because
interesting.
people weren't really sure what to do with the console.
Maybe. It is really interesting though how Nintendo seems like it has the most variety.
Yeah.
Or at least I don't really recognize, or I can't really think of anything where it was like it's all familiar and all seems samey. I mean, he had some like platformers, obviously, but like with Conquer and Banjo, but nothing that I could say like, okay, this is what the console is kind of like gonna be known for the year, in terms of like genre.
Yeah.
Whereas like with PlayStation, it's like, okay, so we have a lot of more anime kind of inspired games, a lot of more RPG-ish looking games. And with Dreamcast, so far, it has like a couple of unique ones, but it's a lot of racing games.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, can you take the turn? Is there a turn coming up? No, there isn't. Well, there's gonna be one coming up in a little bit. Oh no. So when you do play Gran Turismo on your PSVR, because she said hasn't done that at this point, probably because I have her PlayStation 5 in my room currently. I'm sorry, Megan.
I mean, you do.
Do you think it'll make you like motion sick? Or will
I'm
you be
expecting it to
like,
make me at least a bit motion sick, but I'm kind of hoping that if I'm sitting down in a chair while I play it, it won't be too bad. But we'll have to see. Because that other game we tried, I forget what it was called. It made me super motion sick because you're walking around and then you use the right stick to move around and it does like a quick snap 90 degrees, and that was making me really motion sick.
see, for me, I was perfectly fine.
Yeah, you were doing better at it, but I get motion sick extremely easy. So.
Well, you know what I think would help with that, and this is kind of why like I too want to get a bit more used to it, because my problem with it isn't so much motion sick. It's if I'm standing and I'm playing it, my body doesn't really understand that I can be moving in a game, but also not be moving in real life.
Yeah.
So it makes my body feel like I'm gonna fall over constantly.
Yeah.
Which is a weird feeling. So I'm kind of hoping when I get more used to it, my brain will be able to kind of separate that, where it's like, okay, this is on, I'm not moving physically. Because I feel like the motion sickness would be helped in your case if you didn't have to turn like that. Like if you could like turn your head or body and just have that be the way you're facing, right?
Yeah.
So I think once
I was doing fine on that front, because even when I was playing Synth Riders, I was standing up and I didn't feel like I was going to fall over even while moving for the obstacles, because it's very much like Beat Saber where there's some you have to physically move for.
Yeah, but there's a big difference in that though. With that one, you're standing still and you're not moving forward or backward.
Well, yeah.
Like when you say you're moving, that's not entirely what I mean. Like you like moving physically is different from like standing and then moving in the game space, right? Like through the use of a joystick,
Yeah.
That's more what I mean. Like, yes, I could put that on and then walk around and not feel like I'm falling over, because that's just literally called walking, right? But, I can't put it on and then play a game where I'm using my hands to move my guy, but not moving my body, because then it feels wrong. Like, you should try that and see what I mean, because I don't think you've actually done that yet while you're standing.
Well, no, because when we did try Horizon, when I first got it, I was sitting and you were standing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just kind of think that if maybe you'll be really good with that. But if you do that and you get like used to being able to stand while you move, then I think I would solve your motion sickness, because then you can just like, oh, I want to see what's behind me, and then you just like turn, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of weird to see like 2K1,
Yeah, because it'll run like, what, 23 of the basketball?
Yeah. And actually, I will say that when you were playing Synth Riders, you definitely did move from your standing position.
Yeah.
a few times because like you definitely weren't standing where you stood originally when you finished. You're like way off to the side, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, it didn't feel like I was really moving that much, but it's hard to tell when I don't have any perspective, like, of where I'm actually standing, right?
Yeah. Maybe next time you do, I'll put like a little X down where you're standing, and then you can see how far you moved. I wouldn't do that.
No,
There's
honestly,
really
I've
no
been kind of
point.
thinking about that a little bit with some of the VR games because I've heard of people online talking about how when they play VR, they essentially put like a rug or a mat on the floor so they can physically tell when they're getting close to the edge of their play area.
Smart.
So I was thinking of doing something like that. I just don't really have anything that would quite work for that. Nothing big enough.
Yep.
Okay, so we've seen a lot of racing games and a lot of sports games,
So far for Dreamcast, yeah.
which is interesting because not very much of the competition has showed this, at least at E3.
I'm kind of wondering if some devs are a little bit like wary of putting stuff on the Dreamcast
Yeah,
that weren't like either easy to do or like something that Sega already kind of owned.
I imagine a lot of them would have been pretty wary at the time. Who knows, maybe it was really hard to develop or very expensive to get a dev kit for.
Yeah. So they might have been a bit wary, kind of going like, well, we don't really know if we want to develop for this console.
Yeah.
Maybe they could even kind of see that it wasn't performing well enough. So like we don't
Yeah.
really want to put a game on it, which is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy because you don't put good games on a system, it's not going to sell well.
Cough, cough, Sony ruining the Vita.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Because there's a lot of good games on there, but they're all third-party devs and they're mostly from Japanese devs. So there's a ton of like visual novels and JRPGs, and the ones I played were a lot of fun on the Vita.
And then I'm sure Sony like blamed the issues with the Vita like on the system itself and not the lack of like support that they gave it.
Oh yeah,
Which
they
sounds like
100%
what it
did.
was.
They were trying to make a ton of money off the memory cards. They priced them way too high, and people didn't want to pay for it when the console was already $300 because it only came with a 4 GB card. And for example, one of the launch games, Uncharted Golden Abyss, was like 3.5 gigs. So it
Ah,
basically took up your entire memory card unless you shelled up and bought the 8 GB one or the 16, which were like $32 and $64 or something like that.
yeah, it's pretty silly.
So they kind of dropped the ball when they priced the memory so high. I'm hoping if they ever do another like true portable console, they won't do that again. We'll see what this new PS5 remote play console that they have is going to be.
Yeah, never heard about triggers.
Neither have I. It actually looks kind of cool.
Yeah, so far. It seems like it's probably one of your very basic games though, since it's like kill this many enemies. Mission complete. Here's your score.
Yeah.
Now kill this many enemies. You know?
Yeah, it's probably very repetitive. Oh, look, he's in another square arena.
Yeah, so I feel like this game probably isn't really that great.
This is probably one of those games where you buy it and you play it for like 2 hours and it's a really good time. But then like after you get past that 2 hour point, it's really not fun anymore.
Yeah, probably I could see that. Cause yeah, I don't know. I'll admit this game doesn't really seem to intrigue me.
Basketball.
Now let me see how Out Trigger did. Well, it did score pretty high. 7s out of 10, 6s, B minus.
Okay.
8. Maybe it's not as repetitive. Well, it says here later on, received mixed or average reviews.
Yeah.
To the Dreamcast version. Oh, it came out on the arcade as well. That's why it looks so arcadey.
That makes a lot of sense.
That does make a lot of sense. Oh, it came out in the arcade in 99. Yeah, so the arcade version's probably just better.
Probably, yeah.
So the reviews I'm probably seeing, some of them might be, well, no, a lot of these are like, no, these are probably for the Dreamcast version. So it's probably all right on Dreamcast, but probably not as good as like the arcade version.
Probably not. Especially if the arcade version actually had light guns.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give the Dreamcast this though. The character models for a lot of the well, players in the sports games like football and b-ball, pretty all right. They look good.
They do look good.
Unreal 3?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I can't actually tell because I can't see the title.
Yeah, it does
With
seem
all
like
that
pretty
stuff behind
blurry
it.
compared to the other ones too.
Or maybe, oh, maybe it's Quake 3 because the lightning gun. Okay, it's probably Quake 3.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, Quake 3 Arena. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. I did like Quake 3 Arena. Thought it was fun.
Yeah, I never played any of the Quake games.
Virtua Tennis. Yeah, you were right. A lot of sports games.
Yeah. It does seem like a lot of devs were playing it pretty safe.
And I'm noticing quite a few of these devs. Sega.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Maybe the rest of the companies at E3 kind of realized over the years that you don't really need to advertise sports games because people who are going to play them will just buy them. So they probably decided to diversify a little bit. But not Sega.
Not Sega. I really do think, I don't know, but I really do think that devs probably just shied away from the Dreamcast. Because from what I was reading on the Wikipedia, it really wasn't doing well financially for like, well, literally since it came out. So yeah, maybe they're just like, yeah, not worth it. Not gonna sell enough games on it, even to make a port.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's just my speculation. I could be entirely wrong.
I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. I guess it's also quite possible that if the Saturn didn't do as well as people thought, they also didn't want to invest in the Dreamcast either.
True. I think the Saturn. Oh, did the Saturn do all right? I don't remember what I
we
read
talked
before.
about this a while ago, but I think it did okay, but not nearly as good. So, like you said, they kind of kept the Genesis going for a really long time until the Dreamcast came out.
That's true.
So maybe it didn't sell as much as people thought, so they decided it wasn't worth the risk.
So I think the idea for this one is at least kind of interesting, like a racing game set in 2049 in San Francisco, and you can see like all the cool future tech. And I think that's kind of a neat idea.
Yeah, it is cool.
Besides that, though, it's just a racing game. Like, I don't know, it's really kind of hard because, like, in the end, like, yeah, it looks kind of cool, but I mean, in the end, it looks or not, it's still just a racing game, you know?
Yeah.
Which are fine, no issue with that. But like, you get so many of them, and when you get so many of them, it's like they're all just so samey. Okay, I guess that's the end of that one. So we do have more. Of course, we have another 4 hours, which is video 2. More Dreamcast. What looks to be just other stuff. Maybe just some like announcement trailers or something.
Maybe. It's probably stuff that's coming out farther down the pipeline.
Probably. I'm not really too sure. But we will be checking that out. Although I believe we want to have a little bit of a break. And plus, if I do that, then you guys are getting another 2 hours. Which means another whole 2 hour video. Because I really don't want to split this up like in between. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like that sullies the experience. Sullies it just a little bit. But taking a break between videos, I think perfectly fine. Right. So, what do you think so far?
I think overall they had a lot of really good games in the 2000s, in particular for the PlayStation and the N64. They were trying a lot of unique things and a lot of different properties, more than there was the last couple years.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
So yeah, and I guess we'll just have to see when we get there what the next year's going to be like with Xbox included in it.
Yeah, no, that's going to be absolutely crazy. Cuz like so Sega, right? So I'm going to use a bit of an analogy here that I kind of need to explain, right? So in real life, right? You had a nation known as the Ottoman Empire way back in like the 1900s, 1800s, stuff like that, right? And for a long time, everybody just called them the sick man of Europe. And the Ottoman Empire would later become Turkey, just for context for where it is, right? So the Ottoman Empire used to be this really great, fantastic nation that was really powerful and really strong. But it became known as the sick man of Europe because it just kind of started to stagnate, and you could see the writing on the wall that it eventually was just going to go away. Like it wouldn't be able to hold on to the territory that it kind of gained, that it would just kind of go back to being kind of a small player on the stage, right?
Yeah.
And then World War I happened, and then it definitely became a much smaller player compared to what it used to be. And watching all of these, I kind of get the feeling that Sega may have been the same, where Sega was kind of like the sick old man of video games at the time, right? Where like they weren't exactly doing terribly, but they definitely weren't anywhere near their peak. So they were just kind of like slowly stagnating and kind of starting to fade away, right?
Yeah.
And then you have new boy Microsoft coming in with their Xbox, just ready to take over, ready to take their slot as like the third big company. Did I actually look to see? I forget earlier. Did I look to see like what E3 2000 was like? I think I did, right? Like, because I think this one didn't have figures for how many people were there, if I remember correctly. Let me just see. Oh no, this one did. Yeah, so this one had 45,000 people. I completely forgot to even say that. With the main presenters, interestingly enough, being Microsoft, Nintendo, Sega, and Sony. So I guess Microsoft was still considered a presenter for this one, even if because I guess they did announce the Xbox, so they probably had like a presence here to a degree. Yeah, 45,000 people. And then, oh boy, guess what? For the next while after this one, guess who the main presenters are? Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony for the next while. Well, I mean, we're not done with E3 2000 yet. I'm just kind of looking into the future to see what might hold. But yeah, so far 2000, not really too bad. A lot of games that I'm familiar with that I think are pretty cool. Anyway, though, before I make this video even longer, I guess we should call it here, eh, Megan?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
All right, so thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We hope you all enjoyed. But for now, it is time me, and also Megan, to cue the outro. Frig out, and we shall catch you guys later.
Bye, guys.